The Atlanta Hawks were one of the most disappointing teams of the 2024 NBA season. Luckily for them, they won the draft lottery and now have the #1 overall pick. So in today's video, we will discuss the next steps the Hawks should take this offseason. And before we go any further, I should just say, they are not going to compete in the 2024-2025 NBA season. So these moves aren't meant to put them in contenders or to be a top 3 seed in the East. That's just very unrealistic. This is going to be as realistic as possible. The first question you have to address is Dejounte Murray or Trae Young. I cannot watch another season of this backcourt, and neither can you, because it simply just does not work. I am sorry, but it is the truth. I would not trade Trae Young because he has already proven that he can take a team to the conference finals if it is constructed well, and that is why you should move Dejounte Murray. Clint Capella is another name on the trade block, and so is DeAndre Hunter. But when you're creating a team around Trae Young, you need players who can thrive off the ball. Bogdanovich, Onyeka Okongwu, and big-time riser of the year, Jalen Johnson, all thrive off the ball, so keeping them is essential. All trades and free agent acquisitions must fit that team system. First thing first, though, the NBA draft is going to happen, and during that draft, the Hawks should take Alex Sarr. I like the idea of Sarr's fit next to Trae Young at the 5, as he can roll, he can create shots for himself, he has a touch around the basket, he can space the floor, he can block shots. He's just a really good all-around fit next to Trae Young. So I think he's a perfect long-term center option, and I think he's the right option to take at #1. Now looking at the trade market, Dejounte Murray is a big guard and thrives on the ball as a lead playmaker, and given that, it is to be expected a team that needs that trades for him for obvious reasons. Teams that could use him are the Spurs, Pelicans, and Nets. Obviously, there are many rumored teams, but I do not feel that those teams really need what he brings to them. The Spurs and Nets are good fits, but it wouldn't really make sense for either of those two teams to trade for Dejounte, so that leaves us with the Pelicans. And simply put, Brandon Ingram and a future pick in exchange for Dejounte Murray is a trade that you have to make if you're both teams. If you're questioning why the Pelicans need to add a pick, it is because Ingram currently has only 1 year of control left and Dejounte Murray has multiple. Pelicans get the lead guard they need, and the Hawks get a perimeter off-ball shot creator that can be a second option to trade. It's a win-win deal. That leaves us with Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter left on the trade block. The Pelicans could obviously use Capella, but the Hawks could get better value from another team instead. The other team in my mind is the Memphis Grizzlies, who want to pair a big body with Jaren Jackson Jr., allowing JJJ to play the 4. The deal I envision is Luke Kennard after the Grizzlies pick up the team option on him, John Conchair, and a future first for Clint Capella. The trade is essentially cap filler and a pick in exchange for Capella, who you no longer need with Okongwu and Sarr on the roster. And if you're wondering why the Hawks should trade DeAndre Hunter, it is for cap space because they don't have that much money, and the Pacers need a defensive wing, so DeAndre Hunter will be moved to Indiana for a decent amount of draft capital and Ben Shepherd. So that deal is basically just salary dump. After making those trades, the roster is Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Brandon Ingram, Jalen Johnson, Alex Sarr, Onyeka Okongwu, Ben Shepherd, John Conchar, Luke Kennard, AJ Griffin, and Kobe Buffkin. Looking at that roster I just mentioned, I don't like Bogdanovich starting and believe he needs to be coming off the bench. So in free agency, I think the Hawks should sign DeAnthony Melton to a somewhat generous contract to be Trae Young's new backcourt mate. I unfortunately do have to say that I will not be bringing back any of the free agents, including Saddiq Bey, because Saddiq Bey might cost too much money, and ideally the Hawks should be trying to save money right now. Since you know you're going to have to pay Jalen Johnson in a few years, you're going to have to pay Brandon Ingram in the offseason, and there's a bunch of other players you still need to add. I don't think Saddiq Bey is a good long-term option right now, especially if you can get some young wing development within your team. So I'm letting Saddiq Bey and every other free agent walk. My final free agent signing will be Shake Milton to be a cheap backup point guard option. And at the end of the 2024 offseason, the fully healthy rotation will be Trae Young, DeAnthony Melton, Brandon Ingram, Jalen Johnson, and Alex Sarr for the starters, and Shake Milton or Kobe Buffkin for your backup 1, Bogdanovich, Ben Shepherd, and Onyeka Okongwu. This team isn't a contender. However, this would be a significantly better team with balance. The only problem I really see is size and depth at the 4 position, but the Hawks should not be trying to win a championship next year. But this is a great step forward to the future. Based on this roster I just constructed, the Atlanta Hawks at their best would be a 4 seed next year, and at worst would be a play-in team, but realistically I think they'll fall between the 6 or 7 seed range. if they make these moves. But hey, the Eastern Conference, we just saw what injuries can do to it, so who knows, maybe the Hawks could sneak up on some people. But that's all I got for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed. Comment down below what team you want me to do next, and I would gladly do it. Have a good one, stay safe, bye. If you want to watch my 2024 NBA Finals preview, click on this video right here.